Hey guys, this is Coop from GarageGymReviews.com, and today we're doing an in-depth review on the Titan Fitness belt squat. '18 is definitely the year of the belt squat. There's been so many companies that have come out with belt squats, have leaked, future belt squats they're coming out with. However, without a doubt, there is no belt squat even close in comparison to price to the Titan Fitness belt squat. Nothing compares to it on price. I'm going to talk about the features, and I'm going to go into as much depth as I can on this. And I've been able to use it quite a bit over this past week since I've gotten it. But for the price, nothing compares. So it's been a couple weeks now since Titan Fitness released their belt squat to much acclaim. This has been very popular on social media. If you don't follow us on Instagram, you probably should, because you're missing a lot of great stuff. But the reason it's so popular is because they take a design that's popular and time tested, I suppose, the winning strength belt squat, and made it a lot cheaper. Now, does that mean this is the exact same thing as the winning strength belt squat? No, it's not. But it has it has a lot of similarities, especially on its just overall design. Now, is it as good as the winning belt squat? No, I'll talk about that in a little bit. But overall, from its basic design, it's about 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as less as a winning belt squat with a similar design. Now, I want to talk about the build overall. And I first want to say that this is really one of the best builds, I won't say from an engineering perspective, but I will say from like a materials, powder coat, finish, everything like that. This is one of the best products I've received from Titan Fitness. We've reviewed more products from Titan Fitness than anybody else, no question about it. And this is the best piece of equipment that they've come out with from just an overall construction, overall fit and finish perspective. Okay, I'll talk about the engineering in a second, but the powder coating is the best powder coating I've seen from Titan. It's much rougher than their typical powder coat, where it used to be kind of like paint, basically. It's now somewhat similar to Rogue's, I'd say, in the roughness that it feels like. The welds are also much cleaner, much better than what we typically see. The diamond plate surface on the top is thick. It's really nice. I mean, I'm surprised to say it. I thought it was just going to be a thin piece of, tinfoil basically, but it's actually a really nice piece, thick cut of diamond plate. And also the packaging that we received it was the best I've seen yet. It was shipped freight on a pallet. Okay, I've never had anything shipped on a pallet from Titan, no matter how many racks I've bought from them. It also was saran wrapped and had corner edges and cardboard and extra packaging. I mean, without a doubt, this is the best packaged fit and finish product, as I've said before, product that Titan has come out with. Now, although it does incredibly well in that area, there's obviously some things that aren't the greatest about it. So I said the powder coat was great, and it is, but that doesn't mean it's great everywhere. In fact, on the top of the handle, when I opened the package, I noticed that there was already rust on it. There had been a part on the handle that had rusted. And here's one of the issues with Titan Fitness. Titan Fitness will often, if something's wrong with your equipment or they don't send all the equipment, they will eventually send you a piece of that equipment. The problem is how long it takes to get a hold of them and how long it's going to take to actually send the equipment back to you. Okay, so this is an issue that a lot of you have probably faced. I guess it's kind of one of the problems with growing so quickly. I think it's a good thing for Titan, and I think it's something that they're trying to address, but for now, I'm not even going to bother with it because it's not a big enough deal for me to wait that long for. Also, on the platform, when you fit all the pieces together and you start screwing them down, because as you know, with any Titan Fitness piece of equipment, there's a lot of bolts because they try to ship it as cheaply as possible, so there aren't as many welds as, say, some other companies have. So when you try to put it all together, it ends up squeezing the frame of the platform that you're using, which then causes the fasteners that are basically keeping the platform attached to the platform, or keeping the diamond plate, attached to the platform, to pop off. So as you'll see, I'll put an overlay video. When you step on this, there's like this up and down that happens, and the reason it's happening is because it's no longer fastened. Okay, and they actually use permanent fasteners instead of allowing you to bolt it down. I would have liked to see them being able to bolt it down, because now that fastener came up, really the only thing I can do is super glue it or something like that, which I don't really want to do with a brand new piece of equipment. And again, it's not a big enough deal and it would take too long to send back. So I'm kind of SOL. This is what I have to deal with. Okay, so not a huge deal, but this is something that I just haven't heard about. This is something that many other people have talked about as well. So this isn't just an isolated incident. This is something that's happening a lot. Enough with the construction. Let's talk a little bit about the engineering and actually how it performs when you're using it. Okay, this style belt squat, no matter which one you choose, will have some forward pull. It's just the design of them because they're on an arc. It's attached to a fixed handle that's out in front of you. There's some arc, so there's going to be some pull forward on the belt squat. I think it's inevitable that it's going to happen unless you get like one of the cable systems. Because there's not a cable fixed right to the floor down between your legs and it's out in front of you, there's going to be a forward lean, whether you go with this one or the one-knee belt squat. The issue here though, and this is a big one, and this again, I took a little time to make this video because I wanted to get reactions from other people. The lever arm, the arm that's in the middle that attaches to the belt squat, the actual belt that you're wearing, is too short. This is without a doubt the biggest problem with the Titan belt squat, okay? The arm on the front is too short. The issue and what this causes is it requires you to stand off the platform. So you have to be so far up on the platform. In fact, the way that it feels best is your toes are actually off the platform when you're squatting. Okay, so you have this huge platform, but because that arm is short, and I don't really know why they made it so short, but because it's short, it keeps you from having to be able to squat, one, to depth sometimes for some people if you're far enough back, but it also requires you to be so far forward that your toes are off the platform. So how can they improve this? Well, I think most obvious is they make the arm longer, okay? But one of the reasons they did that probably is because they didn't want the arm hitting the floor before the plates or anything else did, okay? This is one of the overarching issues with the machine is that the arm's too short, and also there's no cutout in the platform. If you look at the best lever belt that's available, the Matt Wenning lever belt squat, it has a long arm and a cutout in the center of the floor so the arm can go down. One, this allows you to do more exercises because you're able to do things like one arm rows and things like that much more easily, but you're also able to hit depth easier, okay? Because the arm is longer, so you're able to stand all the way on the platform however you'd like. Your toes aren't off like they are on the Titan Fitness belt squat. And there's a cutout on the floor so the arm's able to go all the way down so you can hit depth and farther if you'd like, okay? That's one of the biggest issues with this machine is that there's no cutout on the floor, so hitting depth is a little bit difficult, especially with the way that they have the rubber stopper on there. In fact, I don't even use the rubber stopper. I'm not gonna use it because it doesn't allow me to hit depth, okay? Which is a big problem because that's the stopper that they want you to use. So rather than using that, I just have it resting on the little, female component that is supposed to hold the stopper. And then another issue is the joint on which the fixed arm or the lever arm actually rests. Okay, so if you look at some of these more expensive machines like the Wenning belt squat, I'm not sure how the Pit Shark does it, but I know the Wenning belt squat, they use like pillow bushings, okay? They use these really nice bushings. They're very smooth. Or they actually may use bearings on that one. I wouldn't be surprised if they use bearings. But they use just to put it in simple terms, they use some sort of robust system to allow that joint to go up and down, okay? So it rests in there and it's smooth. You're not gonna have any wear or tear, and that's the reason you use bearings or you use bushings is because there's not gonna be any wear and tear metal against metal, okay? Same thing you say for a barbell. You don't just put a metal sleeve on a metal bar and don't expect you to drop 400 pounds and there not be any issues there. In the same way, just having a metal, basically cylinder is what they have, resting on a bolt, there's gonna be some sort of wear over time with this, and you gotta think, a belt squat this size, you're gonna be throwing on a lot of weight, okay? I don't know what the felt load is on this. It's probably a bit higher than 100% because it did feel higher. But, I mean, that's an issue for durability. That's a big issue for durability because if that thing ever falls through or not even thinking of safety-wise, just for comfortability, that thing starts grinding on there, and over time it just leaves an indentation, and you really can't even use it. That's something you have to think about. Now that said, this is a $550, $560 machine, so you could potentially just buy a bunch of these over time. When it wears out, throw it away. That's how cheap it is, okay? Which is kind of like how our society is today anyways. I don't want to go too much of a tangent on this, but you look at like H&M or Uniqlo clothing, it's throwaway clothing. Is this a throwaway machine? No, but it will wear over time more than buying something that's just going to last and you're going to have it for a long time. But because it's so cheap, you can afford to buy multiple. In fact, you could buy, 5 of these before you get even to the base price of a winning belt squat. So Titan Fitness definitely has that going for them. Next thing to say is because the arm is so short that you attach to, when you're holding onto the handles and you pull the handle out, you're basically on top of it. So it's very easy to use to like push up, and it feels very unnatural. If you ever done a Hatfield squat where you take like a safety squat bar, put it on, and then you put out some handles in front, you're basically holding onto them like this to help you with balance, and you're not using a whole lot of like pushing motion. You may be using your lats and delts and things like that to push down and up, but it's not helping you a ton, and it feels much more natural. This one, you're like standing on top of it, and it just feels very awkward. Again, if they made that pivot arm, if they made that longer, they could put a cutout in the floor, raise the floor a little bit, put a cutout there, it would really solve that issue. Finally, the last thing I want to say on the engineering is, you get enough weight on this, there's got to be some worry there. Again, with the weight, if you look at the plate posts, they're not welded on either, okay? So they use a plate post that's bolted through, and then they use a backer plate, okay? And that backer plate's supposed to increase the amount of weight that you can put on there, but at the same time, it's just kind of scary if you're loading up, because of how long these pins are. If you put competition plates on these, kilo plates, you could load a ton of weight, and I would be a little bit worried with how those are currently situated with the backer plate. Not only that, because they're bolted on, they end up leaning down a little bit. So I noticed after a few reps that plates were starting to like creep off to the edge. So you probably want to use collars if you get this version. Finally, the belt squat, and I think this is because they wanted to get it to market really quick because other companies are coming to market with belt squats, and there's kind of an arms race right now between companies. You see Sornex coming out with one, Squat Max MD came out with their rack mountable model, Rogue came out with their 3 versions. Other companies are coming out with theirs. There's just a lot going on right now that are vying for the dollars of people wanting to purchase belt squats, right? Which is kind of already a small market. But since home gym owners like you are starting to venture into this market, that's really what's causing the popularity. So good for you, because you're creating extra competition for us so we can buy better equipment at better prices. Now, there's one thing I'll say about Titan in this particular belt squat. This will not be their last version. I would guess that their next version they come out with, the next restock they have, they'll probably watch this video. Titan Fitness, if you're watching, thank you for watching and taking these things that we're saying seriously. Some companies do it, other companies don't. I think it's, would behoove you to see what the community is saying about your products. But they're gonna take what I just said and what the other community members are saying, and they will make it as close to what we're asking as possible, and then coming out with new versions. I guarantee it. So I would not be surprised if the next version we see or the next restock takes some of these considerations into mind, because they're not big changes. They could change them, they could make them happen pretty quick. Making the depth of the platform taller, right? Making the arm longer, putting a cutout in the middle. Those are some basic things that they could do that probably wouldn't increase cost a lot, that they should definitely consider, okay? So that's the thing with Titan. That's what they're doing, and it's smart by them. They come out with something really quick to market as quickly as they can. They get a lot of people to buy it. They get a lot of people to give feedback on it, and then they come out with a little bit better version. You've seen it with the T3. You've seen it with the benches. You've seen it with tons of stuff they come out with. I think that's kind of their model they're working with. And to be honest, I think it's a pretty good model. But my final word, this specific iteration, I have a hard time suggesting it, mainly because your feet are hanging off the top. It's a little bit difficult to hit to depth. It doesn't come with a belt, although the price, you can get one for super cheap. The backer plates, the joints, all the things that I've discussed, it just needs a little bit more refinement. But I would say that, they come out with a new version and take some of these things I'm saying into consideration. It's definitely going to be a great price and a great value, okay? But this has been Coop from GarageGymReviews.com. Which models would you like to see me compare to this, okay? Because I'm planning on getting the Rogue Rhino. I'd love to get the winning belt squat. I'd love to get the Squat Max MD. Love to have the Westside Barbell ATP. I'd love to have all these so we can compare them for you guys, because as you can see and as you've seen over the years, I just want to provide honest reviews for you guys, and that's what our team is situated for when we're writing reviews and doing these videos. Just make them as honest and give you as much information as you need to purchase. But thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Let me know in the comment section all the questions I've asked. Let me know what you think of this video and like the in-depth style. It was popular with sore necks. I think it'll be popular with this one as well. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.